Hello, it's me, MeganBob, the host and creator of Hard Choices, and I bring you the podcast version of the Nite Couples Bad Choices live show that was recorded on Saturday, November 23rd at 5 p.m. Pacific. It was a sexy and bananas feast for the senses. I can promise you that. That is what you're about to enjoy. I do want to say the audio quality is not as good as I personally would like it to be. I can explain why that was. It's boring, but the live show needed to have a certain audio quality, and that turned out to be at odds with our recording level of quality, and that is unfortunate. We're going to continue to work on that. But I have done everything I can to make sure that this is a beautiful and listenable audio experience. I've been listening to the entire raw 5 hours of this, and I found it to be quite listenable. And my standards are pretty high. I mean, not about everything. As you all know, not about everything, but about what goes in my ears. You know what? I'm going to stop this line of thought and move on. If you are hearing this on the public feed, I'm just going to say you are not getting the full benefit of what went down at Bad Choices. You are getting the rankings. If you would like the whole feast of everything that happened, then you will have to go over to patreon.com/hardchoices and become a patron at any tier, including the $1.69 Bob's Buddies tier. And then you can hear all of that, all of the Looney Tunes episode, lots of bonus content that lives there. And more content is coming, more about that during intermission. But for now, I bring you Bad Choices, Nite Couples.
Now it's time to rank these characters. This was a really, really rough round of rankings. I know there are going to be fights. Yep. We heard in the green room about how there are going to be fights. Yeah. This reminds me of like an old late night show, and I hope it blows up. I hope it explodes. I hope there's a problem. Let's begin with the lower half of the median, which in this case I believe is going to be number 9. And let's begin with Marissa.
Well, as we were also discussing in the green room, agreeing about fights, also agreeing that maybe the order that these are in is terrifying, and I feel like I made all of the mistakes. Like, if I had to line up and this was the list to get me into heaven, I might have failed by putting it in the wrong order. And it'll be the thing that haunts me forever, but that's fine, because my number 9 is...
Wait. The chat is making a really good point. We're skipping what fuckability means.
Oh! Fuckability isn't just about what they look like. No, it's not about what they look like. Sorry. So how, Manhattan, why would you do this to me, Bad Choices? Why would you do this to me? Fuckability is not about what they look like. It's about what they fuck like. So assume you are into them, they are into you. How good is the sex? And what is it like?
Would not have been complete without it. Querida. All right, Marissa, go ahead.
Fuck, where was I? Oh, George Jefferson.
Oh, wow, goddamn.
Whoa. Please.
I know. I said that I have made mistakes. I don't know what to tell you. And also, the more I think about it, the more fuckable everyone gets. It's like that weird thing where you think about a word, a very simple word, and once you've thought about it for so long, it really doesn't make any sense that rye should ever be spelled that way, whether we're talking about the flower or the attitude. And much that same way, the more I think about fucking these people, the more I think they're all fuckable. I know. And honestly, part of the thing with Jefferson is he is very clearly fuckable, and that's why he's getting close to my median. He's got this swagger, he's got the suits, he's hilarious, he's absolutely the type of person that would not have to work hard to get me into bed. So I think that that's kind of one of the things that allows him to fit the median. It's a thing that I would go for, but in that way is neither horrible, but is neither going to elevate me or give me, I guess, that inspiration to really pull out those stops that make me think, well, yes, it's spelled this way, but what if we fuck on top of a car? How about that?
Lucid.
I know,
James,
right?
You're number 9.
I am going to echo Marissa here and say that this was very difficult, and certainly the sort of situation where as I was putting forward rankings, I was just like, no, wait, this person's extremely fuckable. So hard, which is why I am shocked. This character was originally close to the top of the list and slowly got pushed down as more characters went up. Agent 99.
Wow.
And the reason that she is here is I honestly think that she does not prioritize sex in her life. I feel like she has a lot of conviction, and that usually comes from a place of passion, but you would need to put in time to help her discover that part of herself. She's working on other things in her life. But if you do put in that time, you can have a lot of fun.
Interesting. My number 9 is Louise Wheezy Jefferson. I think if you can talk shit like Wheezy, then almost by definition you can fuck. I think the urgency, the intention, the abandon. Imagine, it's late evening in the Jefferson household. George comes in late, hangs up his coat, preoccupied, maybe a little worried about what's coming, tosses off a "Goodnight, Wheezy," and tries to skate past. Starts strutting toward the bedroom. Wheezy, who's been up waiting for him, stands up, not quickly, but implacably, and says, "George!" Now, obviously, George is in trouble, but is it because he bought a piano and Wheezy thinks that's a waste of money? Or is it because he's been neglecting Wheezy and she's about to grab him by that convenient half ring of hair he's still got and make him pay up a month's arrears in marital bliss right on the couch? There is no way to tell whether Wheezy's about to give George a tongue lashing or vice versa, but I guarantee you that at some point in their long marriage, they've transitioned seamlessly from one to the other. The Jeffersons fuck angry. And Wheezy in particular seems like a woman who will drag a fuck out of a combative partner. Would I be combative enough? I don't like to brag. But just ask all the women I've frustrated. And I think you'll find that my credentials are in order.
Sorry, you're very funny. What can I say?
MeganBob, you're number 9.
Okay. I feel so... This is too low. This is too low.
It is. I can see over your shoulder it is.
I know. I know. Marion Cunningham. What am I doing? She's frisky. I think she still wears stockings. I can just tell. She wears stockings. She wears a sexy little girdle. She can keep up with Fonzie. She gets drunk easily. She loves sex, but she still fucking blushes about it. She's devoted to the people she loves. I could easily get drunk on the sofa with her and end up finger banging. I could be her bad influence friend. Come back here. I could be her bridge partner who can't play bridge. But I mix super strong drinks and get her giggly. Don't you want to see her go rosy pink and then snicker into a fucking martini glass? Yeah, that's why we watched all those fucking episodes of Happy Days. Waiting. Okay, but really, it's simpler than all that. Goddamn, do I remember the lyrics? All right. Richie's mom has got it going on. She's all that I want, and I've waited for so long. Someday I want to be Mr. Mrs. C. I know it might be wrong, but I'm in love with Richie's mom.
Very cute.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can see you as a Mr. Mrs. C.
I know. Thank you.
I'm going to skip the line here because I agree it's too low. It's too low for me too. My number 10 is Marion Cunningham. Marion is a real old-fashioned femme fuck. This is a woman who blushes. And that could be a tricky situation to handle. A woman who is passively but exquisitely frisky. Down to have a good time, but she wants you to initiate everything. You have to be able to read her and give her what she wants because she's too hot to have ever needed communication skills. If you can't guess what she wants, she'll find somebody who can. If you have the confidence to take a chance with Marion, though, she is not the kind of old-fashioned femme fuck where all she wants out of sex is to lie back, spread her legs, and gradually produce 2 or arguably 3 offspring for the great state of Wisconsin. She's the kind who gets flush when you fuck her and holds a hand over her mouth when she moans. She's too shy to talk about giving head, but she gives phenomenal head. On paper, her favorite position is missionary, but what that means in practice is she wants to get folded in half and railed until she forgets what position she's in. Personally, I like a little more overt direction and feedback, but Marion would be a great time nonetheless. If she asked me to put my mouth down there, which is probably how she'd say it. I'd be a little intimidated by going down on a woman who doesn't know what she wants, but I would not hesitate to take off her archaic undergarments and give it a shot. Marissa, you're number 10.
Oh, good, because I was about to cut in line, because my number 10 is actually also Marion Cunningham. And
wow!
I
folks.
know, but now that I've listened to both of you, I'm like, we are so fucking wrong, because she totally wears, like, sincere girdles and, like, stockings, and I'm an idiot. What the fuck? You could peel those off, like, with your teeth very slowly, and she would be scandalized, but she would love it. She would have to hold perfectly still and not move a muscle while you're, like, doing things to her body until she gets overwhelmed and just gives over to the sense of pleasure. I don't remember why she was number 10, but those are the reasons I would fuck her.
As far as I can tell, you are all correct. You don't have to worry. I feel like you soberly put her at number 10. You're forgetting how sexy the rest of the list is.
You're right. Thank you. Thank you, James, for bringing us back from the brink. Yeah.
My number 10 is Robert Petrie. This is the most normal man on the list. I think he ranks above many sitcom husbands because, as I recall, he doesn't seem to hate his wife and family. That is huge, huge.
Especially with his kid, yeah.
Yeah. There is, on this list, there's a lot of slapstick. And there is an uncanny valley with slapstick where, you know, you get to, like, go into slapstick space and it starts getting like, this is a terrible encounter. And if there's enough slapstick, it actually moves up to be a very good situation. This is like hovering above the abyss. I think he makes a couple mistakes. They are kind of charming and funny. I think Dick Van Dyke can pull it off very well. And like, here's the thing with a lot of sitcom husbands. They are standing next to incredible, magical women. And you have to ask why. And you get to see a lot of their lives. And it becomes very clear at certain points that, well, it's not their personalities that are doing it. So it's got to be something we don't see. So I'm going to just assume that there's enough there that as far as normal man fucks go, he's fine.
New phrase for hard choices. The normal man fuck.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine.
Yeah. I also like, James, your implication that the American sitcom is like the untold history of massive American hogs. Because like that's the only explanation for the relationships.
I didn't even think, I don't think it's a big dick. I really don't think that stretches very far. I have to imagine you give good head. Especially if you behave like a sitcom husband. Like, you got to eat pussy if you're a sitcom husband.
Hard to imagine. MeganBob, you're number 10.
Big Field. Maxwell Smart. I just want to watch him try to figure out how to make me come. He doesn't have to be successful. I just want to watch him approach the problem. Have you ever asked a dog a question? They sometimes look at you like, yes, I am a dog. I have thoughts. But obviously, none of those are germane to whatever you asked. Maxwell Smart is like if a serious-minded dog got a job. Like, imagine one of your sterner border collies working at a bank. Yes, we here at the Bank of Savings and Checking would like to fix your money. Bark, bark. There's something imminently fuckable about a character who is completely in their own world to such a degree that you have no choice but to join them there. Can Maxwell Smart make me come? I mean, probably. It might take the combined resources of Control to do it, and it might require Agent 99, like, wingmanning him from the shadows, but I think he can. I don't think it'll be good, but fuck it. Like, I want to see a dog work as a bank manager.
The scenario that you just proposed, where Agent 99 Cyrano's Maxwell Smart into fucking you, basically uses his body to fuck you, is incredible, actually. And I feel like catapults him up the list considerably.
I got a scenario for this. He's got a concealed earpiece.
Okay.
She instructs him how to eat pussy. He drops it in your pussy, and then he has to listen to your pussy to find out what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, there we go. Bring back parody porn.
So I believe we're on to number 11 now, yeah? Marissa, you're number 11.
Yes, was also actually Maxwell Smart. I had similar feelings, and I think, like, serious border collie at the bank is just such a great analogy, Bob. The vibe that I was really getting, especially from the early episodes of Get Smart, was that Maxwell Smart is Columbo if Columbo was actually stupid. So I had some, like, real cognitive dissonance going off where I was like, Columbo, fuck, yes, genitals go. And then along with, but actually dumb, no, off, genitals away. But then as soon as Agent 99 got into the picture and suddenly he had someone to play off against, and I could see, I was like, oh, okay, not Columbo, yes, dumb, but also is into this character that he's supposed to be of being a spy. And so I think that if you gave him the role of trying to be a suave spy in the bedroom, I think he could pull it off.
Can I just say, I love you so much. I'm so excited that the way that your genitals work is like in a very early Japanese live action television show. I love this for you.
This is why Bad Choices uses the social lubrication that it does, because I probably would not have said that otherwise. I should have scripted this better.
James, you're number 11.
My number 11 is Felix Unger. And this is complicated. I believe buried within this man is a truly wild and satisfying sub. However, he has the millstone around his neck of actually lacking confidence and also not wanting to be submissive. For the right dom, he could really be a treat, but your tastes have to be very specific. He is so desperate for validation and attention, and that could be really, really wonderful. But he'd have to be disciplined. It's complicated. Ultimately, I feel like Felix Unger has the same sexual appeal as Niles Crane, but where Felix Unger fails, Niles Crane excels. If you want to make a man messy who is so deeply invested in being proper, Felix is there. But if Niles is in the same room, Felix is going home alone.
Wow. From another era of television sweeping in to just go like, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Pro wrestling style run in. Here comes Niles Crane like, no, I'm feeble.
It's you pro wrestling style run in to get slapped, which I think is fantastic.
My number 11 is Rob Petrie. Rob is the first in a pair of characters for me who only halfway click. The thing is, I don't think Rob Petrie really fucks. I think he hangs out with people who fuck. There's a real like theater vibe to the Dick Van Dyke Show. Rob seems like the guy who's very funny and bright and talented and pals around with the rest of the theater folk, but he's the one who's not getting laid. Sure, he's a physical comedian. He's got strong body control, flexibility. I don't think that translates to a good time. I think Rob is going to fuck you sketch comedy style. I think he's going to fuck you high concept. I think his tastes are pretty conventional. He has also this like the sensitivity and ego of an artist. So you kind of get the downside of fucking an artist without the upside. Speaking of upsides, though, what a fun motherfucker. It would be so fun, not just to hang out with him, but to be in a sexual relationship with him. He seems like the kind of guy who would like plan a sexy role play with you, invite friends over to the house for a sexy party game, do a bit with you in bed, which is a ton of fun. Seems like an ideal guy to fuck, except for the part where he fucks you. MeganBob, you're number 11.
Wheezy. I want to have a mask experience with her because I feel like she's going to jerk me off like she's mad at my dick. Maybe not especially at me, but definitely mad at my dick. Like what did it do? It's been sitting innocently in its little faux satin carrying bag. But the thing is, she could wear my dick. And then, like, seeing her swagger around with a dick between her legs, I feel like she would grab my head and make me choke on my own dick. I know. I'm at a real advantage compared to, like, every naturally dick-having member of humanity in this. But having, like, a physically imposing woman with a husky voice fuck you with your own cock is an insane, like, reverse Uno card of a sex move. And I, for one, feel frankly grateful to be on the receiving end of it. How much you want to bet she fucking grabs your face like this while she fucks you? Yes, fucking please.
First of all, well observed, huge Uno energy on the Jeffersons.
Oh, yeah. That's a dangerous household to have sex in.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to break format slightly, and I'm going to do my number 12 next.
Oh, wow.
Because I have George Jefferson, and this is like a part 2 to your ranking. My number 12 is George Jefferson. Part 2 of my 2-part series, Guys Who Only Halfway Do It For Me. There is no goddamn doubt that George Jefferson fucks. Look at the way he walks. The fucking swagger. Unself-conscious, goofy, but also earnest. The way he laughs at his own jokes. Can you even receive a hand job if you don't laugh at your own jokes? Is it even legal? The ability to get into your own self is essential. Getting a hand job is like doing stand-up, except your cock is out, and the audience is trying to start a fire with a bow and stick contraption at the same time. You better fucking delight in yourself, because everybody else is busy. George Jefferson fucks like no one is watching, or rather like no one who matters is watching, which brings us to the problem. George Jefferson is also a selfish, abrasive, stubborn, moody asshole who would be insufferable before and after sex, and pretty annoying even in the midst of it. I'd come grudgingly. Back to regular order, I think we're on to Marissa.
Howard Cunningham. Admittedly, my relationship with the Cunninghams is a little iffy because I was having trouble getting like full episodes with sound of Happy Days that I could find access to. But in the clips that I was able to find and piece together a personality around him, he's someone who I don't feel is particularly overly driven by sex. I think that it's kind of a thing that he likes, obviously, but I don't think it's something that he has, it intrigues him enough to push any boundaries or anything like that, which is also fine. But he's also a bit sly. Like, I saw an episode where he was being a card shark, essentially. So I feel like if you get into that particular mood, where it doesn't have to be about sex exactly, but if it's about something that allows him to maybe branch into his darker side, then I think that you have to like start with shenanigans and use the shenanigans as a route to the type of sex you want to have. That is a lot of fun, but also sometimes a little more work than you want on like a Tuesday evening.
James, you're number 12.
Yeah, I have a great pair. And that is Marion Cunningham. She is a normal woman and living in a repressive society. I think it would be vanilla and inoffensive. That's not a no, but it falls pretty far on my list, both here and in general, honestly. I just think, like, it would be all right.
That's a heartbreaking thing to hear about Marion.
Hey, man, she's on the list with some of the hottest beings ever conceived in fiction. So it's really unfair to her.
True. Very true. MeganBob, you're number 12.
Oh, well, speaking of crimes, Laura Petrie.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What?
I know.
No, please.
I know. Thank God there's 2 bedrooms in this fucking place we're staying.
Yeah, we're going to have to get 2 separate beds.
She's so fuckable!
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I personally, me personally, I'm trying to approach like a sphere. There is no natural place for me personally to get a grip on this situation.
The tits.
She is perfectly femme in ways that I generally don't do, but at the same time, I am drawn to everything she's offering. She's cute, she's fun, she's hilarious, she's sweet. She clearly loves to fuck. But what's, like, my way into all of that? The tits never occurred to me. Okay, so like my best guess, I'm Maxwell smarting my way into this situation. The wacky neighbor who goes down on her in the kitchen while her terrible child is at school. That's right, Laura. You shimmy your tight little ass out of those capris and get up on the Formica countertop. I promise I'll make you come before the muffins are done baking. My one critique is that I think she's still in the very beginning of figuring out who she is as a sexual being. There's a lifetime of treasure there. I hope you're very happy.
Yeah, she is. It's called The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
I know, but we're not watching The Mary Tyler Moore. This is my fucking argument. I don't want to fuck Laura Petrie now. I want to fuck Laura Petrie in the mid-70s.
Okay, agreed.
I know this wine is good now, but goddamn, it's going to get so much better. So much better. I can see the Mary Tyler Moore Show from here, and I want to be there.
All right. No, that's fair enough.
I will be hearing about this later.
Let's see. I believe we're on to our 13s now. Marissa, you're number 13.
This works out great because my number 13 is Rob Petrie. You know, it's not unlike what has been said. He's a guy. He's a real guy, and he is, yes, James. I think a much better version of most sitcom husband versions that we have seen. And he's the type of person that you would genuinely want to be, I think, in a long-term relationship with. But this isn't about long-term relationship choices. This is about hard choices and bad hard choices. And for that, the only bad part, I think, would be the concerning amount of physical comedy in the bedroom. And I know this is something that comes up repeatedly in hard choices. The question of, well, all right, what does the poor schlup end up doing in a bedroom? Is it going to be sexy comedy? Is this the good come in your eye, or is this the salty come in your eye? I don't know. But that is the ultimate hard choices question. And I think as someone who is also tall, gangly, awkward, and has a really bad memory of where the furniture is in my own house, the two of us together in a room in potentially the dark, because it'll probably be the dark, because he's that kind of guy. I don't know who I'd end up having sex with or what piece of household item I would end up having sex with, but it probably would not be the intended coupling that both of us came into expecting before there were suddenly ottomans that had been there for 10 years.
James, you're number 13.
My number 13, speaking of cum in your eye, is Maxwell Smart. Maxwell lives on the very bottom of the uncanny valley of slapstick fucks, which is physically dangerous to you. I think whether or not Maxwell Smart is technically proficient in sex doesn't matter. Some shit would happen. And you could completely avoid it if you resist the urge to have sex with Maxwell Smart. This is technically not a no on this list. This is the stage right before my nose. And it's like, you might say yes, but it's a really, really bad idea. There's no way what you're going in for is what you're coming out with. Now, the reason that you should open yourself to yes is there is a non-zero chance that you will go in to have sex with Maxwell Smart, turn the lights off, and when the lights come back on, you will find that it was Agent 99 with a strap. And that is your best case scenario.
My number 13 is also Maxwell Smart. I have a lot less confidence about how this is going to go. To me, Max is an enigma. He is canonically very successful at a job that he is also canonically too incompetent to do. So however you try to do the math on how he fucks, it feels wrong. It feels like the answer can't be that. Is he a spycraft savant who has found dozens of secret bases and nary a clit in his lifetime? Is seduction, though, one of his James Bond pastiche skills, so he can reliably give you a good time, but only in a comedy way? Just like he can save the world reliably, but in a comedy way. Or is he an utterly hopeless clod with no redeeming features? Or is he transcendently amazing and it's just never come up on the show? All I have to go on with Max is circumstantial evidence. In this case, the fond but condescending tone that Agent 99 takes toward him. If I had to guess, I'd say the sexual vibe from Agent 99 to Max is God bless him, he's trying. And I've ranked Max according to that. But if he turned out to be top 3, I would not be shocked. Just morbidly curious. MeganBob, you're number 13.
Oh, that's a good question. I wonder what my 13 is too, baby. Oh, it's George Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What if Kermit was kind of vindictive and like a catty piece of shit?
What if?
No, think about it for a second. The flail. The intensity. The highs, the lows. The low-key chaos. I mean, it's not as good as fucking an actual Muppet. Like,
of course.
But what is?
Yeah.
And I damn sure don't think he's anywhere as good as a real Muppet. But I do think you get like a Muppety fuck out of George. But like kind of a dirty old man Muppet fuck. You can see it in the way he laughs at his own jokes. He loves being George Jefferson. The way that like Stadler and Waldorf love being Stadler and Waldorf. I think he fucks with exactly that much swagger and delight too. I'm not saying it's necessarily good, but I think it can be. When he's riding high on his bullshit and absolutely feeling himself, I think you get fucked like he's a 6'7" linebacker. The rub is, you have to accept George Jefferson winning the argument for that to happen. Look, there is a reason why we do not call the show Foregone Conclusions.
Person who only thinks about fucking Muppets. This person gives me Muppet vibes.
Am I wrong? People in the chat, which of these people is the... Oh my god, so many of them are Muppets.
I know.
Were you waiting for me to have this realization this whole time?
I mean, I didn't want to bring it up because I don't want to get typecast. Like, I don't want to get pigeonholed, but...
I mean, you
very...
definitely want to get pigeonholed by a Muppet.
Look, we got to move on. Number 14. Marissa, you're number 14.
Felix Unger. I feel like this could go one of two ways. And depending, he could either then shoot up higher on the list or possibly could have gone lower. But I erred on the side of like him at 14, essentially, because I think it could either be some crazy kinky latex play or you're going to end up with Lysol in all of your orifices. And I am really concerned about that second option. So
I'm 100% backing your assessment there. I think you've hit the nail on the head. The problem is your approach to fucking this man is wrong. You've allowed him to make a decision. That's not his place.
Oh, wow. Oh, love that tone. Oh, Felix deserves every second of that.
He doesn't deserve it yet, but I'll make him deserve it.
James, you're number 14?
My number 14 is Oscar Madison. Welcome to the nose on my list. And why is Oscar Madison here? There's a lot to unpack in this scenario. This is a big feels situation. Why are my feels so big about Oscar Madison? It's because to the general populace, to the non-pervert, I believe Oscar Madison is a above average fuck. I truly believe this. Any average person off the street has sex with Oscar Madison. There is an alluring freedom in his personality. He is untethered from many of the things that bind us in society. And feeling any kind of liberation in a sexual fashion, I think, is an allure to many people, draws them in. However, it is a trap because this is a dude who cannot have any kind of relationship with vulnerability. Every single repeat relationship that this man has will inevitably fall apart. The only human being that this man can have even close to a fulfilling sexual relationship with is Felix Unger, because Oscar recognizes that he needs that man. Needs him. And Oscar has already lost a wife. He has already allowed one of the deepest bonds he, even had the bravery to form fall apart. It's because he is at his heart a coward. And a coward can never truly fuck you beyond the veil. He might be able to open someone's eyes to what it would be like to be uninhibited by society, but he actually can't follow you where you need to go. Oscar, at the end of the day, is inevitably going to be a disappointment, and that's his own emotional weakness.
Sorry, there should be stirring music rising underneath this, but I'm like, I don't know what it would be.
That's interesting. Because I have a totally different take, but I also have him at number 14.
Sure.
Oscar Madison, the sloppiness is a red herring. Doesn't matter at all. It's the way Oscar treats women and the way that he treats Felix that lands him near the bottom of my list. Not that I think ultimately he isn't a good friend to Felix, and not that he isn't ultimately, a lot of weight on that word, so ultimately a good guy, but his instincts are towards selfishness and laziness, and then he's got to backtrack and make up for his initial behavior later. That's like the arc of whatever he does. But listen, if you give me a lazy fuck, it's too late to make it up to me. I have to sleep now. Either that, or I need to edit my daily podcast, whose release schedule I have endangered as part of a calculated wager that the dick would be worth it. If I'm going to disappoint my listeners for you, I need you to give me a good time the first time, not let me down and then come around the next day trying to make it up to me. I have another episode due out now. Haven't you done enough? In short, I reckon that Oscar fucks you, expects you to jerk yourself off while he has a sandwich in bed, and then lets you sleep in his bed afterward only if you don't disturb his slob snob sleeping habits by trying to make the bed or something. There's a good fuck in this man somewhere, but I do not have the patience to wait for it. He is my first pass of the night, albeit with reservations. There's something there. You're number 14.
I hate saying this. It's Howard Cunningham. Look. So when I was a small Bob, I saw Tom Bosley and went, that one. Now as an older and wiser Bob, I'm like, but also still that one. So grumpy, but also not grumpy. Also so soft. No, everything. Deliberately chose a frisky wife who's sometimes more big-hearted than she is sensible. There's something about the way he says, Marion, that says it all. You can picture, right? Look, go with me on this. I do something classically MeganBob. Big-hearted, a little ridiculous, somewhat scandalous, from the other room. MeganBob, for crying out loud. And then I get to, you hate this. And then I get to look slightly abashed, but ultimately, everyone in the audience. Did I mention this is filmed in front of a live studio audience, an exhibitionist stream? Anyway, everyone in the audience is ultimately charmed by me. And even he is charmed by me, despite fully acknowledging that I am a whimsical creature at times. I have to rank him low. I have to. Because I don't think the sex is better than good. But I have to acknowledge that there's a pleasure in being seen and affirmed for your foibles. Also, don't at me! But he definitely has pulled Marion's hair a couple of times.
Yeah, I agree 100%. In fact, I'm going to start with my number 15. My number 15 is Howard Cunningham.
See, I can do this, but how can you do this?
Number 15, Howard Cunningham. I like Howard as a character. I respect his canonical friskiness, but he seems like a pretty basic dude to me, and that's just not my flavor. If at baseline, you get a lot out of sucking off a middle-aged man and then listening to him snore, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. We need you. But it is not my thing. I would need something more, and I'm not sure Howard's even heard of anything more. Pass from me.
Wow. Wow.
Marissa, you're number 15.
15 is also Oscar Madison, which is also just starting to get into the part where it's probably a no. And I understand and I hear the reasons that have been provided, and I'm really excited about taking those to let's unpack that if people in the chat will remember to remind me about bringing that back up later. But for me, a lot of it, honestly, is the fact that he is filthy messy, and I do not think my brain could get into the right headspace. Because the only thing that would be unpredictable about this encounter would be trying to identify what I am pulling off of my skin and ass afterwards. No, I don't know what surfaces we're pressed up against, but no matter what one it is, horizontal, vertical, the roof. There will be something sticky that I will then have to try and identify while I am decrustifying it off of my, ass cheek. And that will take me out of the moment. And, I cannot come in filth. That's one of those things. I know it's a quirk about me. Sorry for putting that out there. Not to yuck anyone's yum, but I cannot come in filth. And that is why Oscar and I will not be having an encounter, among the fact that I'm clearly not his type. But,
I love what the bar is for bad choices. It's like, I'm crazy. I can't come in filth. Aww.
James, what about your number 15?
My number 15 is George Jefferson. And look,
all right,
this is a man who possesses passion, but he can only use it to be insufferable. Even if by some miracle, George Jefferson is passively good in sex technically, he is so self-absorbed that his skill would somehow come off as off-putting. Also, he is a racist. And can I enjoy having sex with a racist? I don't think so, actually.
I love the tone you just did. You're like,
no, I don't think so. You'd have sex with him, and at some point you'd hear his thoughts on interracial marriage, and you'd go, okay, George, cool to know.
Sorry, that one took me back. That happened to me once. That was not a good time. Turns out I actually cannot either. It turns out that I can come in filth, but not with a racist, is what I found out that night. So, MeganBob, you're number 15.
Big feels. Rob Petrie. This is too low. He's too low, but also, is it too low? I'll be honest. As funny as he is, as clever as he is, as lovable as he is, I don't know that I want what's on offer. A little too suave for a wow boobs. A little too goofy to slap my shit. A little too young a Dick Van Dyke to be any kind of grizzled peepums. He's gonna be so fucking politely baffled by my genders. I don't even want to suck his dick. I know. For those of you who have listened to Hard Choices, even for 5 fucking minutes, that's like me saying, baby, I don't want a donut. Yeah. There are pleasures in life you just don't say no to. But no. Nope. I'm sorry. He's fine on fundamentals, I'm sure. But I don't listen to a band I like and go, the fundamentals are so strong. It's like they know how to play the instruments. It does take more than that to rate.
All right. Wow. That's very surprising.
Oh, wow. What did you think of me, darling?
Well, we can save that for let's come back. We got to keep moving because we're at the dead zone. We're at I don't know what the hell, the White Shadow. What's the worst Nick at Night show? That's the time slot that we've reached. It's time for number 16, and we're going to begin with Marissa's number 16. Marissa, go ahead.
Darren Stevens. I mean, he is the killest of killjoys. I couldn't even think of anything really interesting to say about how much I wouldn't fuck him, because that is more time to spend on him than I have ever done or would want to do. He was the reason why I didn't enjoy Bewitched very much when I was younger, because it was just all about him having this cool, hot wife with all of these powers, and then he wants her to not be any of those things. That's unforgivable. So, yeah, that's as much time and thought and energy as I'm going to spend on Darren Stevens.
Fair enough. James, by any chance, do you have Darren?
No.
Okay, then I'm going to go next. No. I know, that's shocking in itself. My number 16 is Darren Stevens. There's one man on this list who doesn't fuck, and it's Darren Stevens. He doesn't fuck, and he hates it when people fuck. When he comes home and feels a feeling in the house, he furrows his eyebrows and yells, "Sam, are you having a sexuality again?" And she hurriedly stows her 1960s vibrator and goes, "No, dear, just mixing some cake batter, dear." Yeah, you are, Sam. The cake batter of desire. But it's never going to bake up into the cake of sexual liberation until you put it in the oven. The oven of getting this dickless cry bully out of your life. A rock bottom pass from me. A pass of a whole different magnitude from any of the others. Fuck you, Dagwood. I hope you get turned into a newspaper again.
Hey, Kris, if that's supposed to be bad, why is that scenario you described so hot? Huh?
Ooh.
This could be a Fred Mertz situation. I mean, we're not ranking Samantha while Darren is furrowing his eyebrows in the other room. That's would be a contender.
My number 16, and I do feel bad about this, but I'm on hard choices. I have to be objective. It's Howard Cunningham.
Ah!
Yeah, I know it hurts. It hurt me too when I did it. He's more repressed than Marion in a jovial sort of way. Like, I think he's genuinely a good dude. Would I hang out in his wood-paneled basement and drink a terrible beer? Yeah, I would. Would I suck his dick? No, I wouldn't. He's emblematic of the sad, sexless American ambitions of the time. While he's a fine guy, he's not a fine fuck.
It's going to turn me around there at the end, James. I like sad, sexless ambitions. That seems like a project.
Well, you're living in the right fucking country.
All right, I think we're wrapping it up with you, MeganBob. MeganBob, you're number 16.
Yeah, Darren Stevens. He's so easy to annoy, and he goddamn deserves every second of it. But he won't enjoy it. Not that Dr. Doom would enjoy it either, but Dr. Doom is Dr. Doom. Darren Stevens is, to put it charitably, a dry meatloaf of a man. No amount of sexual ketchup is going to save this. That was the phrase I was laughing at to myself last night, darling.
You deserved it.
Really, really good phrase, Bob. Just out of the park.
Thank you. Not even the BDSM stylings of a spicy barbecue sauce. You know what? I'm just going to come out and say it. I think Darren Stevens likes his vegetables boiled to shit. He thinks pepper is too spicy. He has described 2% milk as flavorful and refused to use salted butter on wheat toast because obviously the intense flavors would clash. Men like that don't eat pussy. They grudgingly tolerate prodding a clit with their stiffened tongues like it's a popcorn kernel that they're trying to dislodge. Yeah, tell me about it. I would rather tie Darren up, straddle him, come all the fuck over his nicest suit, and then leave him for some good Samaritan to rescue. And not to brag, my pussy has ruined some good clothes before, so I know I'm good for it. Yeah, fuck this man.
The vegetable thing, that really
that
gets it. He's eating his green beans and he looks up at Samantha. He's like, Sam? And she's like, it's garlic. It's not magic, it's garlic.
Good.
All right.
Good.
So it's time for our first intermission, I believe.
It is time.
We got to go. It's time for station identification, which means it's time for all of you in the viewing audience to go use the bathroom, get another drink, do whatever you have to do. And we will go to intermission, and we will see you in 10 minutes.
Welcome to intermission. If you are in any way interested in what goes down on my OnlyFans at onlyfans.com/MeganBob, for this week and this week only, something delicious will be up for free. So go over to the OnlyFans if you would like that. If you are interested in the Nick at Night photo shoot that went with it, that is available in its full glory over on the OnlyFans. My OnlyFans page is free to subscribe to. I do have paid content, but there are some goodies up there for free. Sorry, I just really love rolling an R. What can I say? If you're not a fan of working with OnlyFans, and I do understand that, they do make you enter a credit card, and it does feel weird, then you can go over to patreon.com/hardchoices and join at one of the sexier tiers, and you can get a teaser of some of the Nick at Night photos that are available to buy over on onlyfans.com/MeganBob. Also, please note that there is some content coming exclusive to the sexier tiers of Hard Choices Patreon. Also, there is some more content coming in general. I am working on 2 separate podcast projects with my perennial co-podcaster, Kris Newton. These projects are funny, they're sexy, they're interesting, and I think you're going to enjoy them a whole lot. Some of them will be available to all the tiers. Some of them are going to have parts that you can only get on the sexy tiers because I do want you to opt in. Look, I'm not here to ruin your good time. I mean, sometimes there are rankings that are absolutely here to ruin your good time, but that's a different thing, people. That's a different thing. I'll be talking more about those projects in the coming weeks, but just know there is some good shit happening, and a bunch of it has already been recorded. If you're a Patreon supporter, life's about to get real fun. I mean, funner than it already is. With that, please enjoy the rest of Bad Choices Nick at Nite Couples as we descend further and further into our various cocktails and get into the top tier rankings of Nick at Nite Couples. Thank you so much for listening.
All right, we are back from intermission. And now it is time to talk about the characters we would extra like to fuck from this list of characters that is increasingly apparent we would just really like to fuck in general. Marissa, please give us your number 8.
I feel bad about this. It's Laura Petrie.
Ooh.
I know, I'm a fool. But like, she's delightful and wonderful and funny. A little bit high anxiety though for me, as someone who also has high anxiety, like trying to modulate my own emotional reaction to the situation along with making sure that she feels comfortable enough to get into it. You know, I bet if she had some drinks it would be fine, but I'm not sure how much she'd be willing to get into the cocktails for this. So I think it would be well above average. Obviously, this is going to be a fun encounter. It really just comes down to the fact there's people I want to fuck more.
Yeah, that's fair enough. James, your number 8.
My number 8 is Louise Wheezy Jefferson. I think she's got more passion than other flat TV housewives, but I also think that if she was someone who truly prioritized sex in her life, she wouldn't have married George Jefferson.
My number 8, tragically, is Felix Unger. The point of The Odd Couple is that they're both insufferable in their own ways. But I was saying about Oscar, how the dick wasn't worth it. With Felix, the dick is worth it. Felix is bratty, snotty, picky, sure, but he's also like effete in a way I find very cute. A sexy goddamn dresser, also. Also, he's a tryhard, which I normally don't like, but I can get into a tryhard when he's trying hard to make me come. And look at the way he cooks. His perfectionism and elitism, which you'd think would be a problem, don't get in the way. People love his cooking. He's great at it because he's trained himself to be great because he takes pride in results. Do I think he's going to get the point of every sexual escapade I suggest? No. Do I think I'm going to like everything he suggests? No. But I once had a partner who was enough of a nerd to research how to give a blowjob in her formative sexual years, and I can tell you 2 things. Number 1, she gave a hell of a blowjob, and number 2, that is some big Felix Unger energy. There's a sex shop near here offering shibari classes. That seems like exactly the kind of shit that Felix would go for. And bad luck for the shibari class. Good luck for me. MeganBob, you're number 8.
Also Felix Unger. I know. I want to blow him. I want to give him the sloppiest, nastiest job imaginable, like drool all over my chin. And I want to see the conflicted look of desire and disgust on his face.
Oh, Bob, that's so wonderful. I hadn't considered this.
I know. I was like, there's a way you can just like toy with him for hours. I want to dare him to come on my face. Oh, he's gonna feel so fucking prissy and uptight about it. But it's what the lady, citation needed, wants. And you wouldn't want to turn down a lady, would you? That would be rude. Oh my God. Cum gets on my jacket and he immediately stops everything and starts cleaning it. He will bring me the warmest of warm cloths to wipe my pussy. He is my fussy, full service top. All this, and he honks like a weird little goose. This isn't even getting into how he cooks. Like, fuck, I'm gonna be spoiled rotten. Also, I don't think you can eat pussy with a knife and fork, but damn it, for him, you know what? Knock yourself out, baby.
Bib for sure.
That's how he finds the clit, with utensils. Delicately peeling folds aside.
Let's move on to our number 7s. Marissa, your number 7.
I have moved her up and down, and I would like to also, by the way, is Agent 99, because when I was watching the first episode of Get Smart, which obviously I'd never seen before researching this, and she first came on in like the suit. She had like these jodhpurs and knee-high boots and a suit that was cut impeccably and a page boy haircut tucked in underneath a hat, and I just I think I just wrote down my response for this, which was in all caps, "Oh my God, 99, destroy me 99, that whisper voice, her height, her unflappable competence, somehow she makes 86 hot, question mark, question mark, question mark. The suit with the tie and the boots and the hat and the bangs and the eyeliner and the good tailoring. What you want, baby, I'll do it." So these are, she reduced me to basically like stream of thoughts.
Horny babbling, I love it.
I know. And when a woman does that to me, I'm like, well, I never get past the horny babbling part, which is why I'm really bad at flirting with women. But that's the story of life.
Wow.
I just babble. That's all I've got. I could keep babbling, but it's going to be pretty much the same points on repeat.
Anybody who didn't watch the show, just go do an image search for Agent 99 Get Smart.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The fashion alone.
In that first episode. That's what Marissa's talking about. Because all the looks are great, but that first episode, goddamn.
With the little hat?
Uh-huh.
Oh, the hat. I'm like, I need that hat.
All right. James, you're number 7.
My number 7 is Laura Petrie. She's a housewife now, but she used to be a touring dancer. I think that she has lived bigger than most of the people on the list, and certainly most people out there in the world. She definitely has a wild streak. It's not her most familiar place, but I'll bet that you could draw it out.
Yeah. My number 7 is also Laura Petrie. Look, do the math. Hottest character on the list, or in the top 2. Played by the second or third best comic actor on the list. Best fashion on the list. Second best marriage on the list. Depending on whether you think being filthy rich is worth sleeping on a bed of nails. TBD. Best or second best hair on the list. Best overall domestic partner on the list. Has the eyes of a born sub, but the way she slides down that big pile of walnuts in the walnut episode, their feet kicked up in the air. This is a woman who will smile you to death while she edges you. And honestly, I struggled with whether to put her above Felix on the list, but then I remembered she's a trained dancer who loves to perform and has just as much skip in her step as Felix, but with so much more elegance. The only thing holding her back from the top of the list is she's so young and so diffident. Unlike Mary Tyler Moore's later role, Mary Richards, she doesn't really have a ton of backbone or her own perspective, so she can't bring as much to the table as characters who know themselves better and have more force of personality. Huge upside, though. If they awarded Rookie of the Year for fucking, there would definitely be a charming flashback episode of the Dick Van Dyke Show where she earns that shit.
All right, my number 7 is Agent 99. We're at a rooftop bar. We're somewhere exotic, like Hoboken. She's wearing a cocktail gown. I'm in a suit. I light her cigarette for her. She looks demurely down into her sidecar. I say something unbelievably cool. Little did I know that it was a code word. She takes my hand and leads me to a broom closet and pulls me inside. I reach for the slit in her dress, but instead she twists a mop handle, opening an elevator down to a secret garage where we get into a yacht that can go Mach 4. Quick, we gotta get the microfiche to the ambassador of Hungary by 7, or else his son-in-law will be fed to a tank of radioactive newts, the most agonizing of deaths. She gives me a sultry look as I fumble my way through the adventure, spilling my drink multiple times, almost losing the microfiche down a storm drain, and having to dress up as a circus strongman. And somehow, she wants to fuck me? Like, me? And even if I fuck that up, she's still gonna look at me like I hung the goddamn moon. Also, did you see her as Charlie Chaplin? Did you fucking see her as Charlie Chaplin? The fucking gender scamp sexiness. Agent 99 is thirsty and competent. I will play the idiot for her any fucking time. Anytime, lady.
Wow.
That episode sent me. It still sends me. Oh my God, Bob. Smart, sober-ish people. We need to talk more about this in the... Let's unpack that.
Just Agent 99.
Yeah. Okay.
More outfits.
This elaborate fantasy with the amount of alcohol that I've consumed. Feeling it. I'm feeling it.
All right, baby, that was your number 7, yeah?
Yes, it was, darling.
Shockingly.
Mm-hmm.
Marissa, your number 6, please.
My number 6, though in retrospect I would probably move this, is Ricky Ricardo.
What?
Because, there's...
Wow.
Challenging.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, he is obviously attractive and he's talented, he's funny, he's mischievous. All of these things are fantastic. Also, being ranted at in a different language is just fun. That's the only way I personally want to be yelled at, is with some level of affection in a language that I can't understand. Because otherwise, it'll be a real mood killer. But if you're ranting at me in another language and doing so in a very adorable sort of way, then I can go on board with it. Because I'm an American, and that means that I can ignore things that I don't understand. But he is still just on the level of misogyny that I can't work with in certain things. Like, that could be fun within a very specific window of time, place, and activity. But for anything longer than a very particular scene, I think that I would get annoyed beyond all reason. But the problem is he is just canonically really attractive. Even in his foibles, and the worst sides of himself are still remarkably appealing.
Yeah, first appearance for Ricky, right?
Yes,
so.
it is.
Yeah.
James, your number 6?
My number 6 is boldly Darren Stevens. And I'm going to come out here and say that, yes, this is a very complicated ranking. This isn't even big feelings. I don't have a lot to say, but I'll say it passionately because I know it's controversial. This guy has weird values, but undeniably, there is something about him which admittedly barely shows up on screen that made his 400-year-old wife challenge a lot of easy to accept values. I could not tell you how good he is, but I can say that with some certainty, he cannot be bad. Samantha is not a fucking fool. If you're watching this right now, I know you respect Samantha Stevens. Are you going to tell me that Samantha Stevens has committed herself to a life of drudgery, a life of sexual dissatisfaction? No. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's doing, for some reason, Darren Stevens. So mostly on my respect for her, I'm ranking him number 6.
Chat, please, let's unpack this later, because I have an innovative alternative explanation for how a wonderful woman ends up with a horrible man. I know it's never been seen before, but I think in this case, that might be what's happening. My number 6 is Agent 99. Get Smart is not a sexy show, but it's a pastiche of James Bond. So I think we can assume that femme control agents are experts at sex and seduction, just like all the secret agents in the world of 007. That's slightly speculative on my part, but her character history implies as much. And also, look at her mouth. Like, what kind of espionage agency doesn't train those lips to suck cock? Like, democracy could depend on this. There's more to Agent 99 than just seductiveness, though. She genuinely loves Max and gets hot for him on screen, which is a stunning feat of libido. Imagine getting it up for Maxwell Smart. This goofy-looking motherfucker with the voice of Inspector Gadget and the smell of shoe phone on his breath when you're Agent 99. This tells me she is not just good, she's the kind of woman who makes things sexy, right? Like I might, if I wanted a blowjob, I could go to a Felix Unger. I could go to a Laura Petrie. I'd have a good time. Agent 99 could make me want a blowjob. And so for that reason, I have to rank her that little bit higher. She's less to my personal taste, honestly, but she's a professional and I respect it. MeganBob, you're number 6.
Well, it's Morticia Addams. I know.
Confused, but I'll accept it.
Will you?
Out of respect for MeganBob, yes, I will.
Okay, that's fair. But this is
I'm
testing.
not going to say anything bad about her.
Okay.
Like, that's not why she's here. She's just here because there are things that are wrong with me, personally. She's not a switch like a light switch. She's a switch like a dimmer switch. Just that seamless transition from submissive and coy to predatory and seductively powerful. She slides between offering herself up to you and then rolling on top of you to bite your lip until she draws blood. The sub might pull that looking to get slapped. I think Morticia does that fully intending to slap you if you resist. And she may just as readily sink to her knees in front of you, giving you an imploring look. Now the issue is that I suspect she'd find me painfully dull compared to Gomez, who will delight in every painful pleasure she can dream of. She'd give me a ride. But are you going to use a Ferrari to run to the grocery store? It seems wasteful. But look, sometimes it's enough to know that you're driving the car everyone else wishes they had. Also, she might slap me.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee it, though, and there are other people on this list who probably
We need to
will.
unpack this later.
Yeah. I want to unpack this as well, but I don't think you're wrong. It's a stacked list. Marissa, you're number 5 whenever you're ready.
Samantha Stevens at number 5, which I do think, I know, should be higher, except really much in the way that, like, your respect for Samantha Stevens is enough to raise Darren on your list. Her choice of being with Darren lowered her on my list to where I was like, she has this power. I didn't even realize she was 400 years old because I should have read more Wikipedia articles. But, like, all of that time, and she's with this motherfucker? Like, willingly? Is she cursed?
Oh.
I don't understand. Like, it is easier for me to fathom that she is less awesome than I thought she was than that Darren is more awesome than I think he is. So that is basically how that went down for me. Otherwise, of course, Samantha would be super high on the list. Also, I love her mother.
Yeah.
She would be a great mother-in-law. I mean, a terror and own my life, but I'd have a lot of fun. And so family time would be great. Like, I would lock that shit down if I did not question this whole Darren thing. Yeah, that is why she's my number 5.
Nick at Night singles, Endora is going to be on that list because I need Endora to be on that list, and it's my fucking show.
Hell yeah. James, you're number 5.
My number 5 is based purely on the strength and power of this list. Ricky Ricardo.
Wow.
I tried so many times to write about Ricky Ricardo. He is so obviously passionate and also so obviously loving. I think it is easy and effortless. So thinking back on any of the segments of I Love Lucy where you get to see Ricky at work, where he is performing for an audience, it is smooth, it is easy. He is a host. And I have to imagine he is just as confident and competent in the bedroom. There's no bad interaction with Ricky Ricardo, as we've already pointed out, even if he's yelling at you. So I think he has to be high on the list. And the only reason that he's coming up as number 5 is because there are simply people out there who are higher.
Yep. Yeah, same for me. Number 5, Ricky Ricardo. You can't write about Ricky Ricardo. You can only write about what you want with Ricky Ricardo. Ricky's single loose lock of hair is like a solitary, tantalizing trickle out of a broad and mighty dam that I yearn to feel break all over me. I want his hair to be a fucking mess. I want his tie to be untied. I want his breath to smell like whiskey and cigarettes. And I want his sexy goddamn voice to be occupied with nothing but a stream of filthy Spanish pillow talk about how he wants to fuck me. You know that point in the night where the cologne and the sweat are in a dead heat? That's when I want Ricky Ricardo. I want him to come at me smelling like an animal and the goddamn ocean. Okay. And here's the thing. I think I can get this from him, because there is one thing I can be that Lucy Ricardo cannot be. Easy. After years of being married to Lucy Ricardo, you're ready to fuck your way down the path of least resistance. And it's right here, buddy. MeganBob, you're number 5.
Samantha Stevens.
Okay.
Whoa.
I know. Look, I am the creature that I am. She can have an absolute orgy any fucking time of the goddamn day that she wants to. I want to encourage her absolute most debauched and witchy impulses. That's right, darling. Bring every famous lover from history to the bedroom and let's test drive all of them. It's only, 10 a.m. on a Tuesday? We have time to get through Casanova at least. Let's show him that vibrator you keep under the bed. I fucking hope the goddamn neighbor walks in. You know what? Fuck it. I hope the goddamn neighbor joins in and we watch Caligula get railed by Catherine the Great. And we can do this every fucking day. And on days we're too tired to fuck, she can bring in a whole ass Japanese onsen into the living room and we can just soak until Dillweed or whatever the fuck his name is comes home. I want to be the one telling Samantha that her ideas are brilliant. She is brilliant. Let me be the them friend that your mother fucking wished she had. Samantha, I happen to think it's really cute when you wrinkle your nose.
All right, whenever you're ready. Marissa, you're number 4.
Wheezy Jefferson.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
She's just smart and competent, and she fucks. She fucks. And it's the voice does a whole lot for it as well. Yeah. Just because it doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing, that voice is always at the level of sex. It doesn't matter whether she's talking about the bills or trying to go somewhere in the evening. As mundane as it is, I am always ready just based on the sound of her voice alone. And I think that she's someone who may take a little bit of warming up, but once she is in the mood for it, I think she would destroy me. And it would be amazing. If I could get her to destroy me, that would be the goal. I would have to work really hard to be worthy of this destruction, but oh my God. Once she got into destruction mode, I feel like I would never forget that ever and be haunted for the rest of my life. And I'm very good with that. Sorry, I have feelings.
Apologize for nothing.
The episode where she dresses up as Mae West.
Yeah.
I didn't see that episode. What?
You know how sometimes there are bands, it's not even necessarily your favorite band, but it's whenever you listen to their music, it's them. Why am I listening to other things? I feel like that's the kind of ex Wheezy would be. You would hear that voice and you'd be like, fuck, I'm right back there. What am I doing with my life? James, you're number 4.
My number 4 is Lucy Ricardo. Lucy exists, as I've discussed, the uncanny valley of slapstick sex. She dips up to the apex of slapstick sex. Something is going to go wrong when you have sex with Lucy. That is undeniable. But it will be both funny and hot in a way that pushes you into a new realization. Will your arm get stuck and caught somehow? Will she do something to you that is maybe just a bit beyond what you thought your limit was, but you're in a position where you can't say no? and so it pushes past that limit? Absolutely. Lucy is someone who loves without reservation, without thought to whether or not she can take herself seriously, whether you take her seriously. There are no bounds, and that is where the true heart of sexuality lives. She is the threshold. Obviously, there are higher levels to go to, but it's Lucy Ricardo. If you're having sex with a normal, mortal person, it's hard to do better.
Yeah. My number 4 is Morticia Addams. And this one's very simple. It's not hard to imagine what Morticia and Gomez get up to off screen, because what they do on screen is already so close to fucking. Like, we've seen the Petries dance together. We've heard the Cunninghams talk about feeling frisky. But, like, there's one couple on this list I've actually seen whip each other. It's the Addamses, right? I mean, we've seen her strap Gomez into a dental chair and torment him into a masochistic frenzy with a dental drill, which somehow got past the censors. It's fucked up, but like we know what it is. Morticia's sexual habits may be weird. They are not mysterious. It's very simple. She fucks like the angel of death, sweetly but dispassionately, letting you come inside her just once before she delivers you to the grave. And that's straight from the Wikipedia page. So open and shut. MeganBob, you're number 4.
Lucy Ricardo. Everything is escalation with Lucy. Everything. There's only ever an endpoint to it because the episodes are 30 minutes long and G-rated. Actually living a sexual relationship with her. It's astonishing that the beds aren't broken every night and Ricky's back isn't perpetually blown out. Of fucking course I want to have this zany sex life. Why, yes, I do want to accidentally end up getting fucked in the Museum of Natural History. I do want to accidentally get drunk on live television and then start pulling each other's clothes off. I do want to grab her ass in the grocery store in such a way that we're eventually arrested for inciting a store-wide food fight. The satisfaction of being covered in cake, but with a shit-eating grin of, yes, I'm fucking her. I don't know. Can you put a price on that? I'm just hearing from the lawyer representing us in Food for Less versus Lucy and MeganBob that the answer is yes. You can put a price on it. And it is surprisingly high.
Marissa, you're number 3, please.
Now I'm at the point where, frankly, I'm just angry because I don't want to rank these last 3. I don't want to have to choose.
Fuck this show.
I feel like I know. I am Bob. How dare you make me try and put an order and a hierarchy in my heart on these 3 remaining characters who I would do anything to touch in even the slightest erotic way. I'm angry, and I just want to say that I am submitting this under duress because number 3/2/1, it would be Morticia Addams, because I love her. I love her so much. It's the worst awful bisexual problem of do I want to be her or do I want to fuck her? And the answer is clearly both. Because if I looked like her, the only person I'd want to fuck would be also me as her. This is entirely logical, but yes, Morticia Addams is everything. I adore her. I would pursue her to the end of the earth. To be the Gomez in this situation, yeah, I'd wear the pinstripe suit. She can put me in a dentist chair. Whatever she wants to do to me, I am down for. The only reason that she is not number 1 is because I feel like she is... I'm afraid that I wouldn't always know what she wants me to be doing for her. And I feel like the trying to figure that out would be a little more difficult. I'd be willing to do it. Sure. I can dedicate my life to this. Don't think that I would not ADHD hyperfocus the shit out of Morticia Addams. But I think that it would require a little more work and leave me slightly less comfortable in the experience because I feel like I'd have to be alert on a different level of trying to be attuned to where she was at any given moment.
How about your number 3, James?
My number 3 is shockingly Samantha Stevens. I think assessing this list, when Nick at Night was brought up in the first place, my first thought was Bewitched. It's there. That's the show. This show has such a legacy, an unimaginable legacy. If you are like me, and reprehensible nerd, you love anime. There is no magical girl genre without Bewitched. Samantha is the archetype that gave birth to things like Sailor Moon and so many other wonderful series because she's a witch who you can love. And that idea is like at the kernel of the human experience. She is a powerful, powerful woman who does not have to exist in many of the circumstances that she does exist, but she chooses to anyway. That's the thing. That is the complicated kernel at the heart of Samantha's existence. Obviously, Darren Stevens is a controversial figure here. We're all mad at him because he's boring, and we should be the ones who are allowed to fuck Samantha. But of course, if you are familiar with kink, you know that there are certain things that you accept, and you accept them because they're hot. The idea that Samantha is powerful and knows more than any other witch that's depicted on the show how to use her power, but chooses to enter this relationship where she doesn't use it. She keeps herself away from it. Darren is a limiter that she chooses. Yes, she is capable of the pan-historical sexual bacchanal that MeganBob described earlier. But that is a limitation. That is a rope that she has tied upon her own wrist and entrusted to the bafflingly attractive Darren to tie to her bedpost. She has been alive a very long time, and she is clearly more clever and more enlightened than anyone else in her life who have also been alive very, very long times. Samantha knows what she's doing, and she knows what she wants. Whether she is doing it by the force of her hand or by the magical power that she was born to, she does it right. And somehow, this woman is number 3.
Yeah, I feel ya. My number 3 is also Samantha Stevens. And for me, it's like the partner in crime aspect. That's one of the best vibes in a sexual relationship. I feel like I'd have a real sweet spot there with Samantha. Just in the same way that I think Darren is like too boring and too conventional for her for some things. By a much narrower margin, I think some of the characters on this list, like Wheezy and Marianne, might be attractive, but like might be more conventional for some of the things I want to do. On the other hand, like Samantha, I'm a basically like normal, responsible person who wants to be a good parent and spouse. So she would be a better fit for me than like a Lucy or a Morticia. I don't want to do actual crimes with my partner in crime. I want to get up to some hijinks, like strictly in the misdemeanor area. Like we'll go like we could have some sex in public. I think hijinks is the name of the game with Samantha, and her magic would open up unique vistas of hijinks. We could fuck his pandas. She could take away my hands temporarily while she edges me instead of using cuffs or whatever. We could fuck in a castle or a bank vault or a celebrity's bedroom, or she could turn herself into a giant, or we could create simulacra of our fantasy fucks, holodeck style, and double team them. The possibilities are endless, and that would be a certain kind of fun with like an impartial sex genie who's just giving you stuff, but it's a whole different level with an actual sexy, adventurous partner who would want to be in it with you. 10 of 10 would panda fuck without hesitation. MeganBob, you're number 3.
Big feels. Oscar Madison.
Whoa!
I'm sorry. I legit love the smell of someone who's been wearing the same shirt for 48 hours. I've described sweaty dick as having seasoning. Oscar Madison is going to be at a fucking loss to outgross me. Fucking try me, bro. I will eat the nastiest chili dog with you. I will lose at strip poker. I will drink straight whiskey. I will watch baseball for hours. And if I get bored in the 7th inning, I'll just suck your fucking cock. I will forget to take out the trash. I am your trash goblin queen, baby. You haven't lived until you've had your fingers in my pussy and your hand in a bag of chips. You're going to fall so hard you don't ever get up. Don't worry, members of the audience. We'll still shower. I guess.
Bob, I'm not worried at all because I know that fucking coward breaks up with you as soon as he realizes how powerful you are.
As soon as I make snow angels in his trash and go, get down here, you fucking piss baby.
Yeah. He'd just be like, oh God, I've been outplayed and I can't live with that.
All right, I think we're on to number 2s. Marissa, you're number 2.
Still mad about it. So number 2 is Gomez Adams, because, the Adams, they come as a pair perfectly. They are passionate about each other, and a lot of that comes from Gomez carrying the emotionality of it. Whereas with Morticia, it's the dimmer switch. Joe Flood said in the chat is a coy minxness, and that's part of it, and I definitely agree, Joe. That's part of the appeal. But Gomez, I think, would be just slightly more fun to fuck because he would let you be a little more of the coy minx, which sometimes is a thing that I would prefer. He would do anything you suggest. Anything, any kink. If he is into you, he will not only do it, he will love to do it. He will be so excited to try it out. And he will be willing to take that to any place. And he's wealthy. So if you said, I really feel like it would be hot, baby, if you came on my face, but my face was in Transylvania at the time, he'd be like, yes, all right, get in the car, let's go now. And that would be your evening, and it would be great. And you can't scare him, though he can be scared for you, not enough to not do something that's pushing the line, but in a way that is acceptable. He would be scared for you, even as he drew blood, but he would be willing to draw blood. That's so important sometimes. And he wouldn't mind if you drew it from him. In fact, the enthusiasm would continue to extend. Yes, stab me a little bit or more. I don't care. It's worth it. That's the level of insanity, and it may not be that you can maintain that level of a sex life for very long, but while you're doing so, damn.
Marissa, I respect you so much for the power move of baby, where do you want me to come? Transylvania. That, not many people can play the Morticia role, but I think you'd have a shot. James, you're number 2.
Ranking the final 2 characters on this list is an impossibility. Because, again, this is hard choices. I'm trying to be objective. There is no objectivity. At a certain point, you hit infinity. And if you add to infinity, it is simply infinity. My number 2 has to be Morticia Adams. I thought about it long and hard, and it comes down to subjectivity. Morticia is perfect in so many ways. She delights in things, but that is not a prize easily won. There is so much passion that you have to pour into it, and with every ounce that you give, if you manage to give enough, it will be worth it because it will be given back. She is this ice corpse, this beautiful aspect of death itself, a reminder that you are alive and that we fuck because we know that one day we will die. But she still responds. When Gomez says, "Oh, Tish," she just simply, breathily says, "Gomez." It is perfection. She is a sexual muse. She will awaken in you desires that you did not know you were capable of having. The fears that you run from in your nightmares will be the fantasies that you embrace. The frustration that I have with Clive Barker and his Cenobites is his imagination is too narrow. None of those horrors are the thing that would truly make you willingly run towards pain. It is all written upon the face of Morticia Addams. She beckons you, and you walk forward, knowing all the things that will entail.
So my number 2, I will take her against Morticia any day, is Lucy Ricardo. Lucy ranks higher than Samantha for me only because sex is basically social. I know this is controversial, but I think at the end of the day, sex isn't about transforming into a panda or time traveling to the French Revolution to fucking a guillotine. It's about human connection, even if that connection is mediated temporarily by panda anatomy. Sam is fantastic, but for sheer charisma, for intense human emotion and interpersonal friction, you can't beat Lucy Ricardo. She is an endless fountain of huge feelings and big swings. Not even a fountain. She's like a fucking fire hose. What is Lucy like in the bedroom? She's the only person on this list who would sneak into your bedroom while you're at work, cut your mattress open, wriggle inside, and furtively whisper to you while you're sleeping to subliminally convince you to take her to that new restaurant that opened up downtown. That's what Lucy is like in the bedroom. And yes, she's gonna sneeze and blow her cover at some point. And yes, you're gonna wake up to a face sticking out of your mattress at 4 a.m. And yes, you're both gonna scream. But when you pull this red-headed maniac out of your bed and she starts stage crying about how much she wanted to go on a date with you, what are you gonna do, not fuck her? Are you gonna not fuck this deranged woman who gutted a mattress for your love? Of course you're gonna fuck her. And if you don't think that pussy is worth the home invasion, maybe you've just never fucked a human disaster of the magnitude of a Lucy Ricardo. And I feel sorry for you. MeganBob, you're number 2.
Gomez Addams. Sure, in the show, he loves pain, but that in no way implies that he likes causing pain. I think he's a lunatic hedonist chasing sensation at any cost. As someone who, within the last fortnight, eaten so much pizza that their body physically shut down for 24 hours, may I just say, namaste. Much more importantly, and here I lean across the bar, that mustache is exclusively for soaking up pussy juice. He wants to smell pussy all day, but you can't just shove soaking wet tampons up your nose and walk around. We live in a society, and it turns out that society is dumb as shit and doesn't know what's good. Gomez Addams knows what's good. It is eating out your lover or being so drenched in their cum that you look like a toaster strudel. And I bet he'll even mix me a drink after. Baby, I want to be your raison d'etre, your avant-garde, your jamon et fromage. Now, spread my thighs and wreck my shit, mon coeur.
Marissa, do you have Gomez at number 1?
No.
Okay, let's see. James, Gomez?
Gomez is absolutely at number 1, yeah.
Man, you and James are just like...
Yeah, go for it, James.
The apex of human sexuality made manifest. There's the perfect blend of visceral carnal passion with the true romantic devotion. And beyond that, he truly has no limits on what he would do or try. He is already yearning to act on whatever fantasy crosses your mind, truly living to discover new ways to love you and new ways to express that love together. He outfucks every character who has ever been discussed on this show easily. I am someone who very much lives with a cat can look at a king as my personal sexual mantra. The idea that a being could be so low that it could look up at God and see itself as superior and somehow be right. Gomez is just that thing. There is not a being that exists that if he were to apply his passion to it, he would not be its equal match. And he's found that in Morticia. If they spy you from across the room, you are in for the most unforgettable night of sexual bacchanalia in human history. And here's the thing. I had a very dear friend once tell me about a moment where they had a wonderful romantic entanglement with someone, and that person, unspoken, without any communication about fetish play of any kind, brought out a butterfly knife in the middle of their encounter, and they had the thought, perhaps I'm going to get sex murdered tonight. And I'm actually okay with that if it happens. That is Gomez. That is Morticia. That is the duality of them. You will confront the most extreme thing that could possibly happen to you, and you will accept it because you know the spirit in which it comes to you. It elevates you beyond any weakness you have, beyond any strength you imagine you need to respect yourself. You submit only to what you feel. And that is something that Gomez instills in you as he kisses his way up your arm and says your name.
Yeah, nothing we can do but keep it going, because I got Gomez too. Good luck, you two. I'm going to finish up with Gomez. Gomez Addams. This man is horny for just existing, and he is double horny for anything remotely sensual or sexual. It's a problem. Notice how we see him upside down all the time on the show. This is necessary. If he allows that blood flow to continue to his constant erection, it will jump off and start fights. Gomez is not made for this world. He throws himself completely into love and sex. He's in a near constant state of being overcome by passion. But while he indulges in the most intense S&M and undoubtedly eats pussy like a starving jackal, he's also a gentleman. He is a man who knows his way around a fencing foil and a brandy snifter in a gothic manner. And this does not undercut either the brute force or the classiness of which Gomez is capable. You get both. He is going to leave you covered in bruises at the very least, not out of clumsiness, but because he got you to the point of craving that. And once you craved it, giving it to you was the only gentlemanly thing to do. Even if he's not in love with you. And I don't think the Hard Choices premise implies that I'm his new Morticia or anything. But even if I'm not, he is a caring, genteel, violently horny fuck monster nabob who would give any partner the fuck of a lifetime out of both genuine passion and aristocratic pride. And you just can't beat that combination. I don't know if I'd put him at the top of Hard Choices ever. There's this guy named Animal, he's a drummer, but I do think he's a strong contender for best fuck ever on Hard Choices. I would agree with you there, James. Anyway, who are the other losers? Marissa?
All right, fine. So my number one loser would be Lucy Ricardo.
I take it back.
Which,
yeah, see?
Honest to God, I did not expect her to be number one. I really didn't. When I was coming back to this, because I'm re-encountering a lot of these shows that I had first encountered when I was younger. And so, bringing in a layer of sexuality that has matured throughout that time is reframing a whole lot of things. Not Morticia and Gomez, obviously, because even as a child, for all time, they are the pinnacle. And why I was so surprised that one or the other was not my number one. But it was rewatching some of the I Love Lucy shows and realizing that, let me put it this way, Morticia and Gomez, either one of them, that's someone that I would not want to just fuck once. That could be a long-term thing. But if we're asking about pure fuckability, an experience that I would want more than anything else, but probably could not sustain, I think Lucy Ricardo would be it. Because she would be the perfect yes and fuck. There is nothing that you wouldn't bring to the table that she would not then respond to and up the ante by like 10. And it then expect you to do the same, would put some sort of energy out there that would demand a response that is going to only up the ante, which will only make her bring something back that's even wackier than that. No matter what you think you're going to get with the night with Lucy, that's not what you're going to get. But what you are going to get is something that is amazing, unforgettable, hilarious, and wrings everything out of your body emotionally, physically, and psychologically, frankly, and leaves you incapable of having any other experience that you're not aware of, having been just short of touching that sort of a star.
Yeah.
And I have the other half. Ricky Ricardo. A man who will truly slap my shit when I act up, but, crucially, will still comfort me when I start crying. You know what's as hot as that? The fact that he's a good goddamn comedic foil for someone with as much zany madness as Lucy fucking Ricardo. That is fuckability. The ability to share the spotlight and do everything. We are all slutty comedians here. Everything to sell her comedy setups and payoffs. It is fucking incredible. Top the shit out of me, but put me over. I want to know that I landed the bit. Even if it's in sex. Yes, I am 100% that person. I need to stick the landing whenever possible, and having a partner who is going to make sure that everything hits exactly right because he's playing the same game, even if it's from the other side of the chessboard, fuck. And the fact that he can match the energy, even if he's bringing a different kind of it, god damn. You need someone who loves slapping as much as I love getting slapped, and Ricky Ricardo is that man.
This has been Hard Choices. If you want to show your support and get even more goofs from behind the scenes, visit patreon.com/Hard Choices and become a patron. You'll get exclusive voting rights and participation in every weird new thing we do. If you like the show, please consider leaving a 5-star rating and review on the podcatcher of your choice. It shows people what's fun about the show and makes it easier for others to find it too. Hard Choices is produced by MeganBob. Our theme song is Funk Me by Soundroll. This piece and all music used in this production is licensed through Upbeat. You can find details in our show notes and listen to more great tunes at upbeat.io, spelled UPPBEAT.io. The Hard Choices logo is designed by Elliot B.K. Lang. Please go follow their work at Elliot B.K. Lang on Blue Sky, spelled ELLIOTBKLANGE.BSKY.social. Their art is so cute. If you'd like to get into touch with us, email hardchoicespod@gmail.com and say, hey. Thank you so much for listening and hanging out with us. You're a peach.